So then, you clicked on this video because you want to learn how to make your very own Minecraft pixel art. Well, you came to the right place, because in today's video I'm going to be teaching you how to make your very own Minecraft pixel art on Photoshop with using images. And basically how it's going to work in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to use an image, how to open up that image into Photoshop, turn it into a pixel art, and then how to edit that image into a nice smooth pixel art, and then how to change that smooth pixel art into a Minecraft pixel art, and then how to actually build that Minecraft pixel art into actually Minecraft. So without further ado, let's get started in today's video. First of all, for step 1 of the video, if you guys do enjoy this video in any way or shape or form, hitting that like button would be much appreciated, and also consider subscribing as well would be much appreciated, and I can't thank you enough for doing that, because seriously, that means a lot, and you guys are the absolute legends. So then, for our actual first step, first of all, we want to make sure that we have Photoshop open and ready to go. Once you have your Photoshop open and ready to go, you're either going to be seeing a new canvas already, or if you don't see a new canvas, you see in the top left here it should say open a new file. We just want to click on new file, and now we got a canvas that we can customize right here. And now basically what we want to do, we want to change a few settings. So first of all, we want to make sure that next to our width it's saying pixels right here, so we want to make sure this is saying pixels, as you can see. So just select pixels, and then for our resolution we want to make sure it's set to 72 as well. And then next to our resolution, we want to make sure that this says pixels/inch. And for all the rest of the settings, that should already be on RGB mode, 8-bit, background contents white, don't color manage, and pixel aspect ratio should be on square pixels. Those settings should already be like that, so you don't really need to be changing the settings. The only other settings you might want to change as well, you just want to change your height and width to 220 each. Once you've got all of those settings ready, all we're going to do now is just click create. And as you can see, we now have a blank canvas. Now, if this is your first time in Photoshop, there's a few tools that I'm going to go over that just, makes it easier for you to understand how to move around. And you can use your hand tool right here, which if you hover all over the tools to the left of your screen, you'll also see that the keyboard shortcut comes up as well. So it tells you H is the keyboard shortcut for the hand tool, as well as it tells you as well kind of what this tool does, as well as you can also click learn more, which learns more about the tool, and it can gives you some nice tips and tricks to how some of these tools work as well. But basically this allows us to move around the canvas and move the canvas around. And this is the zoom in tool, where you just click on the zoom in tool, you will see that there is the plus for zooming in, and if I click on the minus, it zooms this out, and if I click again on the plus, you can see it zooms this in. But there is a lot better way, instead of actually using the zoom tool to zoom in, if you just hold down your Alt key on your keyboard, so that ALT, and just hold it down. And with the scroll wheel on your mouse, you just go up and down, just like so. As you can see, you start zooming in and out of the canvas, just like so. So that's just kind of little quick tools there to just kind of, teach you how to move around that canvas. Once you've learned how those kind of tools work a bit and kind of played around with it a tiny bit, now we actually want to change this canvas though into a pixel grid, because right now it's just a blank canvas. Now all of my settings are already changed to the correct settings, so when I show you these things when you make your changes, they won't be exactly like mine yet, but obviously I'm going to be teaching you how to change all those settings to make sure that yours will definitely be looking like mine at the end. So with that being said, first of all, the first setting that we want to go and change is we want to go and head over to view in the top right here. So you can see right here in the top left of the screen, we want to click on view right there. And once you click on view, we want to go down to show, and then the menu is going to appear right here. Once you go to the right, what we want to do is we want to just turn on grid, and we're going to go back to view as well. And we're also going to go back to show, and we also just want to turn on our pixel grid as well. Now the pixel grid doesn't necessarily matter, but I'm just going to turn it on for the sake of the video as well. Now again, your canvas for your pixels is probably looking really big right now. It's probably going to be subdivided, so we need to go and fix that. Now what we want to do now is we want to go and head over to the top left corner again, and this time we want to click on edit. So click on edit, and all the way at the bottom of edit, we want to go down to preferences. So click on preferences right here. And once you go to preferences, go to the right again, and what we want to click on once in this menu here, we just want to click on guides, grids, and slices. So click on this right here, and once you click on this, a page is going to load, and there we go. And as you can see, we got a lot of things on here, but the only thing we need to pay attention to is this area where the grid is. So you can see it says grid right here. We want to go to grid, and what we want to do is we want to change grid line to every 1 inside here. So we want to make sure that is number 1. And then to the right of that as well, we want to make sure that this is saying pixels to the right here as well. And then you also want to change your subdivisions to 1 as well. And once you change those settings, that's pretty much everything for here. But you can also do a few little other things as well, but you don't need to do them because I leave them as default because they look a lot better as default. But if you go to color, you can actually change your line color right here. But again, I just leave it as default. And you can also change the way your line looks as well. But again, I just leave it as the default because it just looks a lot better. Now, once you change those settings, there's just one more little area that we do want to change some settings for as well. And we just want to go back to the left where you can see all this menu right here. And we just want to go to the top to general. So click on general up here. And once you click on general, what we want to go to is we want to go to this setting right here where it says image interpopulation, which, yes, I know, I've probably not said that correctly, but you can see what I'm trying to say. You can see it's right there. And basically what we want to do is we just want to change this to nearest neighbor, preserve hard edges, and just click on that right there. And then once you've clicked on that right there, we're now done with all these settings. So what we want to do is we just want to click OK. Once you click OK, we now should be back onto this canvas right here, as you can see. And if we zoom in, you should have lovely pixels just like so. And that's pretty much mostly all the settings that we do need to change. There's just a few more settings we want to change for some of our tools and for the image. But for the grid, that is everything that we need to change for the grid now. So what we want to now go and do is we want to go and head over to image in the top left again for all these little settings. So we want to click on image and we want to go down to image size, click on image size. And once you click on this, we just want to make sure everything is looking like this right here. So we want to make sure next to our width, it says pixels. Next to our height, it says pixels. Again, your resolution should already be at 72 and your pixels / inch should already be that as well. And below this as well, we want to make sure that this is saying nearest neighbor, hard edges. So again, just click nearest neighbor, hard edges, and then once you've clicked on that, all we want to now do is go and click OK. Now once you click OK, just should load. Won't always be quick, depending on your speed of your laptop. Mine is not great. I wish I had a more powerful PC, but here we go. We've now loaded. So now we just want to change two tools, and that's going to be our pen tool, and we want to change that to our pencil, and we want to change just one little setting for our bucket tool as well. So heading over to the left right here, you will notice that there is a brush tool right here, and we just want to right click on the brush tool, and we want to change it to our pencil tool. So just click on the pencil tool, which you can click B to get that pencil tool nice and quickly up, in terms of that is the keyboard shortcut. And the reason why we changed this to the pencil tool, which I just need to change my color quickly, is because if I go with the pencil right now, you can see that looks nice and smooth, right? That's what we want our outline to be looking like. We want it to be nice smooth pixels, but if I highlight with the brush tool, you're going to see that's a lot more unsmoother, and obviously we don't want it to be unsmooth like that. We want it to be nice and crisp, so that's why you want to make sure that you change it to your pencil tool. And on the canvas, when you're on with your pencil tool as well, if you just right click on the canvas, you can change the size of your pencil. So you can have it higher, so we up it, again, the amount of pixels it's placing. You see it's quite a peculiar shape, but obviously because we're dealing with pixels, it's kind of circular as it can be. But again, we just want to right click on that pencil, and we want to make sure that that size is set to 1 and hardness is set to 0. And once again, to undo some of your work, you either have two ways you can get rid of your work. You can either click on the eraser tool, which I honestly never use the eraser tool. I usually always just click Control Z to undo what I do. And if you click on edit as well, you can see up here it says undo pencil, or it also says redo pencil. So if I click undo, then it does that. If I click edit and redo, it redoes it. And again, it tells you the shortcut keys right here as well. So if I hold shift, Control and Z, it redoes my pencil. But for some reason, my retool tool doesn't actually work. I don't know why. Control Z works, but my shift, Control Z doesn't work. But anyway, doesn't really matter. And if I ever do kind of like do an area that I want to kind of change, I don't just erase it. I kind of just edit back over it, which is kind of nice and easy for me. But anyway, you can use the eraser tool as well, but I usually just click Control Z, or just change it with the pixels that I have by just colouring it in, or filling over it, or just changing a few pixels. But anyway, moving on from that end of things, we now want to go and change our bucket tool. So we're going to head over to our bucket tool, and just before I head over to the bucket tool, actually, I'm just going to make a quick circle as well, just to kind of show you an example. It's not, look, it's not the prettiest circle, but as long as it connects, that's fine. And we're just going to go to our bucket tool, which you can see right here, and once again, you can just click G, and you get your paint bucket tool. And right now, you've probably got anti-alias turned on, and basically you want to make sure you turn off this setting. And the reason why you want to turn that off, I'll show you why. If I just fill in with anti-alias on, you can see it fills into these outside edges that we don't want it to fill into. We just want it to fill into this circle that we have here. So if I just click Ctrl Z, undo what I did and turn it off, and now I fill it in, as you can see, it just nicely fills it into this nice beautiful circle we have right here, which again, I know it's not exactly looking circular, but it's fine. And that is why you want to turn off anti-alias. And once you've turned that off, that's pretty much all the settings we now need to go over in Photoshop. And we're actually done with the settings side of things. So then, now with all of our settings being changed, everything's ready, it's time to get in the fun part. It's time to go and find that image that we want to turn into a beautiful pixel art and then turn into a beautiful Minecraft pixel art. It's time to choose and build what we want to build. So now we're going to get started to get into the fun part where we actually start to design the image, and I'm going to teach you how to open up an image into Photoshop. Now, before we go to open up and show you how to open up an image in Photoshop, I want to just answer one question for you guys, and you might be asking a question: can you use any image in Photoshop? Can you turn any image into a pixel art? And the answer to that question is yes, and also no. Yes, you can literally open up any image you want into Photoshop, but at the same time, not all the images work. For example, let's say you want to build a pixel art at around 220 pixels in the air, just like any standard pixel art that I usually do. For example, nothing like the world record, right? Just in the air. The type of images that are perfect for that, if I just go into Google quickly here, this image of Naruto right here, so I've just searched up Naruto, this image right here would be perfect. Why would it be perfect? Because we don't have tons of the character. We've got a really nice zoomed in kind of close-up shot of the face, the headbands, just kind of again the shoulders. It's just kind of the perfect size. Now, yes, it is 897 pixels tall. Obviously, we're going to resize images, and you don't have to worry about the size of stuff like this because you'll resize a lot of it anyway. Like pretty much all the time, unless you're building something like me, like a world record. Even then, though, you still kind of resize stuff like this, because there's no way we want Naruto to be 1,200 pixels wide, now do we? But point aside, this is like a perfect design, because again, it's shoulders to head, it's not tons of the character, and we can get that at a nice size in Minecraft. But on the other example, if I was to just exit off this right here, you can see we have a full body of Naruto. Now, we wanted to build this in the air. There's a reason why we don't build it in the air, because you can see, looking at the face is kind of, it's really small. I can really barely make out those eyes that are blue. I mean, I can definitely see it a tiny bit. The headband, I can see it a tiny bit, but it's really hard to see that detail. And bearing in mind, this is already 450 pixels big, and it's already super small. We have to resize that to 220 pixels. And bearing in mind, yes, that's pretty much going to be shrunk almost half its size. It's just like a tiny bit less than half its size, right? But yeah, that is basically why. Yes, some images you can open up any image you want, but some images won't work for certain ones that you kind of want to do. I think with images, the only thing I'm going to really give you for advice on that end of things is it's trial and error, and it's not like you can't do this as well. I mean, I actually wouldn't even just choose this one in general, because as I said, even at 450, that detail is small. You'll probably be able to find a lot better kind of full body in the Naruto design than this. For example, this one actually is a lot better. Even then, this could be actually something that could potentially be done at 220, because you're kind of doing the splits, not gonna lie. But this would be something that would be better as like more of a full body design, because again, we're seeing that face a lot more clearer, we're seeing a lot more detail a lot clearer, and it's a lot better, right? But again, with images, it's just something that is going to be trial and error. The more images you open up into Photoshop, the more you realize, okay, this one works. The more you realize this one doesn't work. And it's not like you have to build pixel arts in the air. You can build it flat on the ground like my budget that I've done before. Or you could even build it flat on the ground like my world record, which is exactly the same as Bridget. It's just a lot bigger. But anyway, with that being said, now let's actually get into the part where we actually teach you how to open up an image into a pixel art. Also, how do you actually get images, by the way, from Google and stuff like that? The best way of taking images, I just recommend taking a screenshot and then just cropping out all the rest of the background, and you just basically want the image itself. For example, for today's image, we're going to be opening in Photoshop. We're going to be opening up this image right here. And again, this was just originally like a Google I got it from, and what I did was just crop it. I just cropped everything out of Google, so obviously we didn't want to see Google or the other images, we just wanted this right here. And I don't really recommend saving or downloading stuff, because a lot of that stuff could potentially be malicious. Not all the time it is, but sometimes it can be, and the screenshot is just the easiest and, well, standard and most safest way. With that being said though, once you've got your image ready, all you need to do, guys, to open up this image and turn it into a pixel art is all you want to do is just click on File, and you want to click on Open, which I'm not going to click on Open right now because it's going to take me straight into my files, but when you click Open, you're going to see probably another page appear somewhere on here, like kind of like another Photoshop page. And if you look in the bottom left, it should say Open on your computer. And all you want to just do is click Open on your computer. And when you click on that, it's going to take you into your files. And basically, you just want to navigate through your files, go and find the image that you want to open up into Photoshop, click on that image, and then it's going to open it into Photoshop. So I'm just going to quickly cut to that being done, and here we go. So now you can see that we've opened up our image into Photoshop. You'll also notice as well, the image has opened up into a complete new canvas. That's why I said the canvas size doesn't really matter. It's more so the settings that actually matter. And if we zoom into our design now, you can actually see, we can now see the pixels. So because we changed it to pixels, we changed it by 1, we changed it by a subdivision to 1, everything like that, you can see now we have turned this image into a pixel art. But that's only one step for our progress, because we want to turn this not just to a pixel art, we now want to turn this pixel art into a smooth pixel art. So for example, we want to change Naruto to looking something like this Sanji water art that I previously designed before here as well. So originally, once again, this was the image on Google, and I resized it to be something a bit smaller, just like so, and I then edited this image and made all the pixels smooth, just like you can see with the black outline, you can see with the colors, it's nice and lovely and smooth, and that's what we're going to be doing for this design right here. One thing though, you'll probably realize when zooming into this design, you're probably going to be thinking, okay, this looks nice, but it's definitely looking a bit too big as well. And if I check my properties, we can see that this is 548 in height and 730 in width, and obviously mine's too big, so let's go and resize that. In order to resize your image, all you need to do is go over to Image, you want to click on Image Size, and then you want to go and change your height to whatever height you want it to be. Now once again, most of the pixel arts I do are always at 220 height, so I'm just going to change that to 220, and there you go. And one little cool thing as well, you'll notice it also automatically changes the width. But on the end of things as well, guys, when changing your height and width, because it automatically changes the width, it also does it the same way round in terms of if you change your width for 220, that would also automatically change your height. And obviously that height is going to be a lot smaller. So for example, if I just change the width here as well to 220, you can see it changed my height to 165. Obviously, I don't want that to happen. So always change your height and don't change your width. Now we're just going to click OK. And now you can see it's resized our image to a lot smaller, to a perfect size to edit. You can see it's a lot more unsmooth now, and that's because we've resized it. And before we get into editing this and turning it into a smooth pixel art, one little quick thing I do want to explain, another tool that I just want to quickly show as well, is I want to talk about the width. Now, because you change the height to 220, depending on the image you use, it could be a very wide design. For example, I've done Infinite Deku with Eri, and when I designed the entire thing, I realized that it was like 520 wide, and that was just way too wide. You're just not going to be able to see all of that in Minecraft. So what I had to do was actually crop out some of the sides, which there's nothing wrong with cropping out parts of the design, because even for this, you can see the head's cropped out. We can't even see all of the hair. So there's nothing wrong with cropping parts out, even if I was to crop a bit of the arm. But Naruto's a perfect size, so we don't need to crop that out. But I will show just cropping, so we will crop some of this background out here. But the only tip I'm going to give you is what your width should be around about absolute max. Your width should only be at like 495, but even then it's still not perfect, and I would recommend having your width at around 450 or below 450. And I'm not saying it should be 450 wide, no, that depends on the design. It's just, I would say the ideal furthest you really want to go is up to around 450. Anywhere below 450 is absolutely perfect. 495, you definitely can go up to that, but definitely no more, because it would just be too big and you won't be able to see everything in one frame when you're in Minecraft. So make sure 450 is like anywhere below that is your ideal number. 495 is kind of like max, no more. And let me also show you how quickly the cropping tool works as well. So I'm just going to click on the cropping tool right here, and we're just going to crop off the sides of the background as we don't need that. Just going to zoom in and make sure I'm cropping the right area. Just a bit over, so I'm just going to go one more to the left there, and then onto the right as well. I just want to crop this, oh god, I want to crop this side as well to about here, and there we go. And you can either just click the enter or the you can click the tick here, or you can just click enter on your keyboard, and that quickly crops it for you. Now just go back to the hand tool so you don't try and crop the design again. So there you go. And now we can move around the design. We've got our sides cropped, so we chopped off that extra width that we didn't need. And now we've got our beautiful Naruto, and I can check my properties. And now you can see it also changes the width. It tells us now that the canvas is turned to 280, and the height is still obviously 220 because we didn't cut any of that out. And now we're going to move on to the fun part where we actually get to edit this design and turn it into a nice smooth pixel art, just like our Sanji design right here. So how do we turn this into a smooth pixel art? It's really actually simple. All we got to do is just go to our pencil tool, so click B, nice little shortcut. And we also want to make sure that our color is in the very bottom left corner in the black at 000, you can see right here, and make sure that this is all the way dragged to the bottom as well. Again, we're changing our foreground color, and we're just going to click OK. Because we're going to be doing the outlining, we want it to be the nicest and crispiest black outline that we want for it. And once you've got your pencil ready, and again, make sure it's at the size of 1, we're now basically ready to start. And what we want to do is you can start anywhere you want. I usually kind of start from the bottom, go around. I'm just going to start on the right side here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to start to outline the previous outline. So we're going to outline to about here. I'm going to outline to about here as well. I'm going to go up here. And this is literally all you do. You just keep outlining it. Now, you don't want to outline every kind of outline part, because if you do that, it's going to look really weird. For example, let's just say I outlined here, 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 and kind of like here. You can see that's looking really unsmooth. Obviously, we don't want that. We want our pixels always to kind of be one thick. So you definitely don't want to make sure that your pixels are like that. You want to make sure it's always one thick. And sometimes if you just keep following like the darkest part of the line, it would look really weird. Another example, if I went up here, up here, up here, up here, it's like there, and then like there, and you can see that's really unsmooth. That's not looking really nice at all. So you want to make sure that you kind of follow a pattern as well. You want to kind of numbers nice and kind of even, which I don't mean like it literally has to be even. I just mean kind of like a nice kind of variety like of numbers going up. For example, that's 4. Do another 4. Number 4. Number 4. Do a 3. Do a 3. Do a 3. And I'm going to do a 3. One more 3. And then I'm going to do 2, and a 2, and look at that. And now if you look at that line, it's looking a lot more nicer. It's looking a lot more like a bend in his arm. It's looking just so much crispier and so much cooler. And that's literally all you got to do, guys. All you have to do is keep outlining the entire thing until you got the entire thing outlined. Now, when's the best time to color as well, and how do you do the coloring in? The best time to do the coloring in is when you finish outlining certain sections. Now, usually sometimes I either just outline the entire thing and then do the colors, or I outline a section and then do the colors. And what do I mean by sections? For example, let's say we started from here, just like we've done here. What would we want to do? We would want to outline all up to here, just like we've done here. Outline all the way up here, go up to here, outline all of this here, to about here, go here, down here, go up there, and then come back to here, go down again, go up here, come back to here, go down here, all the way down to here, and then go completely down right there, and then do this line here. And then once we've done this line, that's when I would then move on to this section inside here. So we would be doing here, here, and here, and here for the colors, and obviously up here as well, and kind of right here, we would then do the colors. And the reason why you want to do the outline first is because it borders off where you're going to do the colors, so it's marking out where we're going to be doing the color sections inside. And depending on the original colors, for example, let's say this was like a Sasuke member we were doing. Let's say we were doing Itachi, right? In his clothes, he wears very dark clothes. And if I was to swap to my eyedropper tool, which by the way, you want to click I for your eyedropper tool, which is this tool right here as well, which allows you to sample colors from an image, which you can kind of tell just from those words alone. It's a very useful tool. And we're basically just going to sample from this color. And let's just say this was like a really dark gray color, right? And now we take out our bucket tool. I click on this area. It fills in the majority of that area with the color that I sampled. Sometimes if it was a dark color, it might sample that outline part that we obviously haven't marked out with the black outline yet. But also at times, you will notice it won't get every color. And at times, it will get colors that you don't want. For example, it could have accidentally filled into here. Now, it didn't actually fill into here because these colors are very different and kind of like brighter and darker bright, but still kind of like bright, but not like super bright like the orange. But sometimes you can get into these areas that you don't want it to get into. But that's basically how we do it. And also, you don't just want to sample the color once, because you'll realize as well in this orange, there's lots of different shades of orange. Like, for example, I might have just sampled from the side here and changed it to like this color. Obviously, now that's not the color we want now, is it? So just kind of like with a sample tool, you know, choose like a few, kind of like just keep sampling, finding kind of which one's right. But it's not like you won't also find it first time. Like, I find it a lot first time. Like, if you're happy with it just from the first kind of sample, you're like, oh yeah, that looks sweet. That's perfectly fine. Just keep it like that. You don't have to sample it multiple times. Like, it's more so like areas like the skin tone. There's like multiple different colors. Like tons of different colors and skin tones. So that's like one where I kind of sample a few times and just kind of, you know, feel which one's right. Nah, it's a bit too bright. It's like sandy. Maybe like this one. That one's a bit better. I like that. That's a bit darker. Maybe like here though as well. Okay, that's pretty nice. I like that, but I think I like the second one a bit more. Go back around here a bit. Yeah, it's still bright. Where was that second color? I don't know. But there you go. Like, okay, that one's pretty nice. Yeah, I like that one. So I'm going to keep it like that. But again, you want to do all the outline first before I start doing that sort of stuff, because again, it can get areas like that maybe I don't want to get all of that, but again, I can always come back to edit those parts anyway, because the bucket tool is always going to fill in areas you don't want for sure. That happens kind of a lot of times, but you can always refine it. And let me show you what we would do for the other color as well. So we've done the paint bucket tool with the one side. Now we also want to do it with the other side, so again, do it with the light orange. Going to fill it on this side, and now we've basically changed the majority of the colors. Again, this is kind of only step one to the colors, but one thing you would kind of notice if I zoom into this, as I was kind of saying earlier, again, this orange paint bucket, it didn't get all the colors because some of these colors are just different. So this would basically change all the oranges that were most similar to this one color that we sampled, and it would change all those colors. So these weren't really as close as a color for it. That's what Photoshop for on the color code key, so it hasn't changed those colors. And also, if you look at it as well, it's very unsmooth. So now we need to go over with our pencil. We're going to go back to our pencil. We're going to sample this darker color, and I'm thinking I'm going to kind of fill in this as single one diagonals going up here. And then this is a 3. I don't like that being a 3, so what I'm going to do is sample the lighter orange. I'm going to go take this one down. Now I'm going to sample this back. Well, actually, no, I'm going to sample the orange again. I'm going to take that one down as well. And now I'm going to sample the dark orange. Oh. And now I'm going to go back to the pencil tool. I'm going to highlight that there. That's a 4. That's a 4. Okay, I don't mind that. Okay, maybe I'm going to change this a bit to a lower. That's like a 5. Let's make this a 5 as well. And basically, you're just going to keep refining that edge until you're kind of happy with it. It looks kind of smooth. Now, you don't need to be at like symmetrical numbers all the time. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't always have to be like that. But you just kind of want to make it nice and kind of smooth as possible. Obviously, you don't want squares going up there. That was definitely a big change you want to make. And you then just refine with a pencil. So the bucket tool changes the majority of those colors that you just kind of want to quickly mass fill in. So it's nice and smooth, those colors. And then you want to refine it with a pencil. So it's got a nice outline to it as well. And then once you refine it with a pencil, if there's any other colors left over, you just go back with your pencil tool as well. And then you quickly go over these colors, or you could just do it with your bucket tool as well. But again, sometimes you have to be careful with the bucket tool, because you can realize it changes some, like right there, change that one. I didn't even click on it one. And again, it could have also accidentally changed that, but again, it didn't do that. But sometimes it can do that, so just be a bit careful. But regardless of that being said, that is everything in order to how to make your own Minecraft pixel art. That is how we make that smooth. So eventually you would just keep doing this until a couple hours have passed. Well, a bit more than a couple. Again, depends on the design you're doing. But once you've edited all of it, you've outlined it all, you've colored it all, you've filled it in with the bucket, you refined the edges, you got all the other bits that were unsmooth, you made it all 2 solid colors, and just like the stance you want to work, we are now basically done with smoothing out that pixel art. And that is, I guess, what step that? I don't know, it's kind of like, it's a halfway point, definitely, for sure. Actually, it's over our halfway point, but it's a big step towards completing. And we now need to turn this image, though, into a Minecraft pixel art, because it looks great. It looks great as a pixel art. We've got it all smooth. The colors look great. It looks nice and refined. We've got an outline. But the main point of doing this video and learning how to make the pixel art is that we want to turn it into a Minecraft pixel art. So without further ado, let's turn it into a Minecraft pixel art. First thing first though, once you've smoothed out your image, we need to export this image as a PNG. So what we want to do is now, we just want to click on File. We want to go over to Export. We want to go and click Export As. We want to make sure that this says PNG up here. And this kind of shows a bunch of other stuff as well. Once you change it to a PNG, now we just want to click export, and basically it's going to export it into one of your files. So you just want to basically choose a folder, have like somewhere where you want to have like your export files prepared. For example, I've got multiple folders where I have like a folder where it's like anime, and then like in the anime folders like tons of animes, and then I have like the title One Piece, so I'll just save it in my One Piece title. So kind of like I've kept it nice and managed, nice and neatly, and I made like a bunch of folders. So once again, you just want to click export it into your files, and once you've done that, we're then going to go and load up Google. So we're just going to go into Google now and load up Google. And once we've loaded up Google, we'll just make a new tab quickly. And once you've loaded up Google, we now want to search an app called Minecraft.netlify.app. So again, we just want to type that into our browser, and I'm going to click enter. And there we go. And as you can see, it now takes us to this page right here. Now, you may have seen this place before, because a lot of people usually actually use this software to open up a image straight into a Minecraft pixel. Obviously, we've done it quite differently. We've opened up an image into Photoshop, into a pixel art. We've smoothed out that pixel art so it looks really nice and sexy, and now we're going to be opening up into Minecraft, and it's going to be opening up into a Minecraft pixel art, but it's still going to be unsmooth. Even when we've made a smooth pixel art, it's still going to be unsmooth, and I'll show you why it's going to be unsmooth. And basically though, once it opens up into here, we're now going to change that into a smooth Minecraft pixel art. But when I say smooth, it's not necessarily unsmooth, it's more of a fact that it chooses colors that don't look that good. Some of them look okay, some of them don't look that good. But the main reason why we use this software is because it allows us to change the blocks that it automatically kind of chooses. We get to change and fiddle around with those colors and kind of see what colors look good. But anyway, once you've loaded onto here, what we want to do now is we want to click on go to editor. Once you click go to editor, we're going to click on choose a file. That's going to go into your files. Once again, you just want to navigate through your files, find where you exported that smooth pixel art, click on that image, and then it's going to open it up. So let's go and quickly cut to that being done. And here we go. Once you basically click on that image, you can see it now takes us to this page right here. And you can see one thing with this app that is the only thing that kind of sucks about it, but there's actually a few things, but mainly so, you will notice that the Minecraft version only goes up to 1.12. You can go even below that. Obviously, we don't want to go below, but it does only go up to 1.12. So some of those newer blocks we don't get to use, but I wouldn't really worry so much, because if you've seen all the pixel art I've done, I've actually probably ever only used like one different color in two of my designs. I don't know if there's two designs that I chose two different colors from, but I know Bulbasaur, I changed one of my blocks to copper oxide. That's the only other one I've changed them from, and that's perfectly normal as well. If you think there's a color in Minecraft, if you place it in Minecraft next to like the other color that's meant to be shaded with, and you think that looks better, you can do that. Like if it's a new block, you can perfectly do that. But again, this has got most of the colors you need. It's got terracotta, it's got concrete, it's got all those nice colors. Though terracotta is actually called hardened clay, but again, that's small little details that, you know, are kind of pointless to say. But once again, the only thing you want to make sure that's ticked right here, you just want to make sure include falling is ticked. And now we just want to click on convert. And now that smooth pixel art has been converted into a Minecraft pixel art, just like you can see right here. But one thing you're going to notice with that Minecraft pixel art, as I said, it looks kind of cool, but at the same time, look at those colors. Like, those colors are just not the colors we want now, is it? Like, look at that yellow. Like, what even is that? Is that orange glazed terracotta? It's brown glazed terracotta. What the freak? But yeah, as you can see, you know, it's nice. You can see it's still smooth though. You can see we've got our nice outline that we've done. There's like a one or two that's a bit unsmooth, but that's fine. But what's so cool about this is the fact that we can actually change those colors. For example, looking at this yellow here, which is birchwood logs, we're going to search up yellow. And this is like a lighter yellow that we know, so we're going to probably kind of like, let's try yellow wool, right? We're going to try yellow wool, take out a bucket tool, fill it in, and we're looking at that and we're thinking, okay, it looks okay, it's a bit too bright though, so I'm going to try yellow concrete powder. Like, it looks nice, yellow wool, but I want to try something else as well. Change it to yellow concrete powder. Okay, I like that, that's a bit more dark. I think that's actually better. Even though yellow wool was still good, I think that's better. So I'm going to leave it as that. For our darker yellow, I'm going to get yellow terracotta. I'm going to change it to yellow terracotta. Okay, yeah, no, I definitely like that a lot more. That's really nice. I think I might just leave it as that. But again, I still might want to play around with it a bit. So maybe I might just try yellow concrete, see what it looks like. Yep. Nope, doesn't look good. Let's go back to the yellow concrete. So we're going to go with the yellow terracotta, that is. So we're going to go back to the yellow terracotta. And let's look at it a lot more nicer. So basically, what I want you guys to kind of do is to experiment with the colors. I want you to keep trying the colors, you know, even if you think one's perfect. If you think it's like absolutely perfect and nothing would beat it, then just leave it as it is. But if you still think it looks good, but you think there could be something better, just feel free to try it out. You know, and yellow's not always the only thing that you can like use. There's other kind of yellow colors. For example, the hair right here, it's not even yellow, it's birchwood planks, which to be honest doesn't look too bad, though for a brown glazed terracotta that could do with changing. And maybe I might change it to yellow terracotta. But one thing you'll notice as well, if I change that, you can kind of see it doesn't really there's a lot of kind of like areas to kind of click on. I don't really want to do that so much. So a little cool thing on this app as well, you can click replace. So I can click on this, and now it takes me to the eyedropper tool, just like in Photoshop. It samples that color. So it samples the brown glazed terracotta, and now I click on this square here, but instead, I don't think that yellow terracotta looks too good, so I'm going to change it to oakwood planks. And you might be thinking, oakwood planks? No way that's going to look good, right? Well, you'll be surprised. If I click replace, there we go, look at that. That's looking a lot nicer. That's actually looking really nice, because his hair's not like super yellow, and again, I don't want all the yellows to kind of be the same, but I'm thinking that looks pretty nice if you ask me. And one thing you also want to pay attention to as well, when you change colors, certain blocks will look different at zoomed out heights. And if you're basically zoomed out really far, you can see that's dark, and Sanji's looking really pale. But if we actually zoom in reality, he's a lot more grayer. Again, that's too dark still. If I zoom in, now we can see what the wood's meant to look like. So the closer you zoom in, the more it actually looks like what it's meant to actually look like in Minecraft. So it wouldn't look like, the wood wouldn't look like that in Minecraft. It would look more brighter like that, where you can see it right there. So make sure you kind of zoomed in and you're actually seeing the colors as truly what the colors are meant to look like. And that's pretty much everything you got to do in this app. So all you guys got to do is keep changing those colors around, keep changing the colors to something that you enjoy and you think that is good. And it's not like this doesn't choose good colors at all. You know, some of the colors might be decent. For example, the hair was birchwood planks. I liked it. I left that as it was. I haven't experimented with it yet. I might still do a bit more experimenting for it. But I'm still happy with that result, and to be honest with you, I'm probably actually going to leave it as that. But regardless of that being said, the point is, you know, experiment, change it around, play around with it a bit. Once you're happy with your colours that you've chosen, now we need to make sure that we remember those colours. And what's the best way of remembering those colours? Well, you just want to take screenshots. But once again, same thing that I was kind of saying earlier, make sure that you're zoomed in. Right here, I can't really tell that's oakwood planks, I can't tell that's birchwood planks. So what I want to do is just zoom into a distance so I can see it. Again, I can kind of see it, but even then when I take a screenshot here, it's going to be blurry. If I zoom in one more time, okay, now that's a lot more clearer. I can see that's oakwood, I can see that's birchwood. So now I'm going to take a screenshot of the hair, and you don't need to take a screenshot of the entire hair. You just need like a bit of an area where you can see both shades. And is there any other shades in the hair? Nope, it's just those two shades. So I only need to take that one screenshot of the hair there. Now I'm going to take a screenshot of the skin tone shade, so I can see the darker bit and the lighter bit there. I'm going to take a screenshot of the eyes so I can see the color of the eyes and all like the other details in the eyes. I'm going to take a screenshot here as well because he's got like a, you know, mustache and everything here, a bit of like a beard. Take a screenshot of the fag as well, and take a screenshot of the can as well. Get this color, got this color, got this color, got these colors and this color here. I'll take a screenshot of this area so I get that yellow and yellow. Again, all the rest of the can same. Like, how is that? Oh, by the way, orange as well from me. I don't get how it's orange, but anyway, I'm going to take a screenshot of this area here, and then there you go. That's all the screenshots basically I need. Another thing I also recommend as well, you don't have to do this as well as the screenshots, but sometimes it's also nice to just go on like Google Docs or like a notepad and just basically jot down all the blocks you use. So for example, I would just write down like Sanji wanna walk, and then I'll just put a bunch of bullet points and then just write down yellow concrete powder, yellow terracotta, oakwood planks, birchwood planks, and the rest and so on. And once you've got all of that jotted down, we're now finished with all our preparation. Now we get into the part where we actually finally start to build it in Minecraft. So what we're now going to do is we're going to exit off here, and you might be wondering as well, can you save it? You actually cannot save. This does not work. Also, I don't recommend clicking save because my computer did not like when I clicked save before, and again, it just doesn't work. So by all means, do not click on save because it does not work, and my computer did not like it at all, and I don't think yours will either. So we're just going to click off here, and we want to go now back to Photoshop. So go back to Photoshop, and we get on to the final stage of the tutorial, and that's how do we know where to place it into Minecraft? How do we know where each pixel go? And it's really simple. All we're going to do, guys, is we just got to count it out and mark out some areas that are a bit too long that we don't want to count. And it's a really cool tool that allows you to mark it and tells you how many blocks are going up there, which I'm going to show you that tool because it's very useful. So first of all, when I usually do a pixel art, usually I start probably around in the bottom left corner. So I always kind of start from the left side and then kind of gradually go over to the right side, just because I follow a pattern and it makes it basically very easy for me to keep my Minecraft pixel art nice and neat and not kind of knocking or getting in the way of a build or kind of colliding over a build. So that's why I always kind of start from the left and then I build all the way to the right, and then when I do my next pixel art I would move to the right of here, but again start in that bottom left corner like somewhere like here, and then once again I would build to the right and so on and repeat the process. But again, we're going to start in the bottom left corner. One thing you will notice though in this bottom left corner, it's just yellow terracotta, but I'm not going to fill in yellow terracotta. I only want to do the outline first. We want to do our outline first. Also, what color is the best for your outline, by the way? Black concrete. Always use black concrete for the outline. Don't use black wool. Don't use coal block. Don't use black terracotta. Always use black concrete for the black outline. That's one color that you just never really need to kind of figure about. Like even if like that Sanji that I opened up into the photo or the Minecraft editor, right? I don't even need to change those coal blocks around because I already just know that's going to be black concrete. So I just kind of leave it as it is because, again, I know what color I'm going to be having that as. Always black concrete because it's the darkest color and it's the best looking color. But, again, we want to do our outline first. Because there's no black outline here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this marquee tool. So you can just click M for the marquee tool for the shortcut. But, again, this is the marquee tool right here. And what we're going to do is, we're just going to highlight from the bottom right here. Just going to highlight from the corner, and when we go up you can see there's actually a number. Now sometimes you can see it's doing it right now. This tool can be a bit glitchy at times, but what I'm going to do is just highlight all the way up to here, and you can see it's telling me it's 1 pixel in width, so the W stands for width and the H stands for height, and it's telling me it's 25 pixels going in the air. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my placement block out and I'm going to place 25 bookshelves going up here. Then I'm going to take up my black concrete. I'm going to place 1 black concrete on top. I'm then going to place 2 to the right. And then going to do a bottom right diagonal. I'm then going to place 2 to the right. I'm going to do a bottom right diagonal, place 1 to the right. I'm then going to repeat that to 1, 2, 3 more times. So I have 4 black concrete, well, 4 twos of my black concrete going down on the bottom right diagonal right there. So that is how you follow along with the outline. Also, what do you do with the marquee tool, by the way, once it's kind of like highlighted? Because when you hold it down to highlight, when you click off it, the number goes and it just kind of has now a square. How do you get rid of this? You can either just click Control Z, it undoes it, or if I just quickly redo it as well, you can also right click, you can click deselect, and it also gets rid of it as well. So that's pretty cool. And all we're gonna do now again is just follow that entire outline, keep following the pattern. You can follow the pattern however you want. You don't even have to do it this way as well. If you wanted to do all the pixels going up horizontally, you can do that, but I don't recommend that at all because you are doing 10 times the work you're doing when you just do the outline, because you're counting every number. When you just do the outline, I don't have to count an area like this. All I've got to do is just do the outline, then I've got to fill this in. You don't want to keep going up and up and up because you have to constantly count every bit of this. But if you just do the outline, you don't have to count it. But anyway, that is how we do the black concrete outline. Again, I would just do the entire black concrete outline because it just looks cool, and it also makes it really easy for me to just do the colors, because then I can just start to mark out the colors and just start to fill in colors in areas where it's just one solid color, like this area right here. And then the final step and the final little bit I need to give you information on is how do you mark out the colors? Well, once again, works exactly the same as the outline. All you want to do is mark the outline for the colors. For example, right here, let's say this is white concrete, this white, let's say this is clay. So we know this is clay. What I'm going to do is just count here so I can see this is 1 in the corner, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the right. So there's 7 in total there. Going along to the right, clay. I'm going to place that there. And then I'm going to do 1 bottom right diagonal, and then I'm going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clay going to the right. And again, you're going to keep repeating that same process. Follow this line and even follow it past the black concrete because it's kind of one shade, you can see, kind of going across the other lines. Keep going. And then again, still follow it here. I'm just going to switch to my yellow terracotta now. Do the outline all the way to the bottom. And then once I finally connect to the bottom, now we're going to fly back to the start of our outline. that we just done with the clay. And now I'm going to take out my white concrete, and all I'm going to do with my white concrete, we don't even have to count it out because we've already counted out the first part. Now I'm just going to mark it on top. So I'm just going to mark on top here, mark on top here, mark on top here, mark on top here, go to this side, mark on top, mark on top, mark on top, mark on top, switch to the yellow concrete, and then once again mark on top all the way going down until we finally connect to there. Once I've marked out this line and I've marked out this line for both of those colors, now we can just start to fill those colors in those areas. Now, for example, though, you don't want to just fill it all in, so we could fill all of this in and this in, but we can't do this one yet, because if you look up, there's another area that we want to mark out as well. So we'll just go to here, mark out the outline for the yellow terracotta, mark it out, and then get out our yellow concrete powder, and mark it out on top here. But one thing you'd also notice as well, we actually can't mark out the yellow concrete powder right here underneath because it would fall to the ground. That's one thing you do need to bear in mind as well, depending on the color you use. You do need to make sure that you're marking out the easier color, because let's say if we were to mark out the yellow concrete powder first and not this yellow terracotta, obviously that's just going to fall straight through this area. Obviously we don't want that happening, but we would mark the yellow concrete powder on top. And what I would recommend, don't fill in the yellow concrete yet. Once you basically mark it on top, I would just fill the rest of this section all in with yellow concrete powder. Because we've already marked out the yellow terracotta, that's fine. We know not to go past that line right there. And we would just fill in all the yellow concrete powder, go underneath here, fill it all in, fill in all the rest. Once you filled in all the yellow concrete powder, then I recommend, or well, don't recommend, then you would just do it and just fill in the yellow terracotta afterwards, once you filled in the yellow concrete powder. And the reason why I say mark the other color on top and not just when you mark out the clay, just fill the rest of the clay in, is because sometimes you might overspill. Sometimes you might be going up and down and you might go into this section by accident. But if you mark it out with the other white on top, so if you marked out the white concrete, you've got those two border lines set. You can see where each color goes into. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how to create your very own Minecraft pixel art. That is every step that you need to do. So that is everything in terms of Photoshop settings, how the tools work, tool settings, how to open up an image, what images are good, trial and error, just try it out, you know, use any images you want. You can just keep testing them, see what's good, what doesn't work. It's just something, again, that you just want to keep trying. How to turn that pixel art into a smooth pixel art, how to export that smooth pixel art, how to open up that pixel art into a Minecraft app where you can see in Minecraft colors, how to change those Minecraft colors into smooth Minecraft colors, how to build it in Minecraft. Ladies and gentlemen, that is everything you need to know. Now, if you do have any further questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll try and answer them if I can answer them, depending, you know, on the question it is, if it's answerable. And if you did enjoy this video in any way or shape or form, it would be much appreciated if you go and hit that like button or go and click that subscribe button, because a lot of work went into this video and I can't thank you enough for showing that support, as this video was quite a long one as well. But, you know, when it's such a big tutorial like this, I want to make sure I try and go over every detail possible. And if you guys want to support the channel in any extra shape or way or form, becoming a channel member is much appreciated, as you get cool access to cool perks, benefits, emotes during my live streams. For example, if you actually don't know, I'm actually live streaming the world's largest Minecraft pixel in the world, though I haven't started to stream in a while yet, but I'm hoping to start the stream again now that the Wi-Fi's been changed. But still don't know if I can stream yet, guys. Sorry, I haven't done any testing yet. I've been working on these videos, but definitely will be doing a test sometime soon. But regardless of that being said, if you do want to become a channel member and support me in any extra way, once again, I can't thank you enough for doing that. Seriously, that's going one step above and beyond. And once again, I just want to say I'm super excited to see some people's designs. And if you guys do ever, you know, design something cool, let me know in the comments or in one of my videos, or even during my live streams. If you built something cool, you know, feel free to, you know, tell me. Regardless of that being said, guys, once again, that's everything from me. So I'll see you in the next video. So without further ado, peace out, enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.